What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And back to our roots, back in the crawl space. He's showing me more about what he's doing in these videos, what he's doing in Extraordinary Life, and telling me a lot about the future. And I think it's beautiful getting to hear from God what he's done in the past, helping to understand. So understanding is in retrograde. Hindsight's always 2020. Well, it's like this year or something. But as I look back, I have conversations with God about what he's asked me to do leading up to this point. And as we've talked about, Extraordinary Life with Elijah flowed out of this time period of me spending time with God in the crawl space of my house. You can go back and watch the video, I'll link it up above, but it was such an interesting time to have God call me down to spend time with him. I didn't know what we were doing. I sat in this very chair with him for hours in the dark, praying, and I had no idea what I was doing with God, but now this beautiful insight is growing out of that time that I spent with him. That my value in going down into the crawl space was beyond feeling silly in the dark. A grown man sitting in your crawl space under your house. My value was that I wanted to connect with the person of God. I valued him over feeling comfortable. But as I sat with him and just looked into the darkness, prayed with him, just looked for his presence there under the house, it began to build into me a capacity to see him in the darkness. Darkness can be many things. Darkness can be a time period of mystery where we're waiting for God to reveal himself. Darkness can be physical darkness where the enemy is coming in to shroud things. But Psalms 23 says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." And then it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." I want to give you guys an experience in the spiritual reality that I'm beginning to break into. I want to put up a picture of my daughter, Azriela. And I'm going to have a little dot over her nose. I'll go ahead and put that up. I want you to stare right at the dot that's on her nose. Now, I know it may be hard to recognize what you're seeing, but this is a negative image of my daughter, Azriela. Just keep staring at the dot. I promise I'm not going to abuse your trust, do something to scare you. In staring at this dot, you're burning into your mind's eye, into your rods and cones, the colors of the negative image. Now I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to switch the picture to a white background and keep staring at the little dot. Don't look away from the dot. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Did you see it? Did you see the colored image? If you want to do it again, rewind the video. But here's what I learned with God, that as I look into the darkness and I make a fixed point as his face, seek first the kingdom of his righteousness with single-minded, single-hearted focus. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. To look into the glory of God's face as in a mirror and to behold yourself. And that when we see God, we're made like him. I hope this is clear. That the fixed point of focus is not feeling good, not feeling cool under the house in the dark, not feeling like I know what I'm doing. It's the fixed point of reference of God's person. that as I looked to that point in him, in the darkness, that then when the light comes, what was a negative image, a negative revelation, will be revealed in my mind's eye in all of the color and the beauty of God's intentions. Now, it works backwards as well, okay? So I'm going to put up a picture of Azriela correctly colored. Here it is. Look at the dot on her nose again. Now, this is the correctly colored picture. This is one of my favorite pictures that I took of her during Christmas. This is one of my first captures that with my new camera that I love this picture. But keep staring at the dot, and here in a little bit, I'm going to switch back to a dark screen. And there's going to be a dot to help keep your focus. Now watch what happens. I'm going to count backwards from 3, 2, 1, go, and switch to the black screen. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What do you see? If this works correctly, now my friend, she has MS. She's looked at this before. I showed it to her, and she couldn't get her eyes to do it. So it might not be working for you. Try to go back again. If it didn't, do it again. But here's the thing. As you look at the correctly colored image, the beauty that God has established, and you focus on heaven's realities, you focus on the beauty, the correctly colored realities of heaven, then when you go back to the darkness, you can see heaven's patterns, the correctly colored image in the darkness. The negative image then no longer confuses you because you know that it's coming from a heavenly pattern. Then you sit in the darkness, go back to the one where you're looking at the negative image. Then your eye is trained further to look at that fixed point of reference, to see the negative image, and then come back to the light to see the beauty of heaven's reality. This is what God was building into me in our time together. God has empowered me by spending time with Him to look at very negative, very off-putting, very dark images and situations, and to focus my eyes on Him. That I don't look away. I look into the face, into the glory of the one with whom darkness is as light unto. And with sitting with my Father in the valley of the shadow of death, communing with Him with enemies surrounding on all sides, but learning to fix my eyes on Him, that I begin to see His glory revealed in the negative image. And it begins to become beautiful to me. Friends, at this time period where there's so many things that are negative, there's so many things that are dark, and social media attempts to magnify the darkness and pull our focus all sorts of directions. My encouragement to you would be to fix your eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. And that as you stare into the radiant face of Him who spoke the worlds into existence, and you allow the beauty, you allow the heavenly perfection, the reality of heaven's perfection to be burned into your sight, that as you go back into the darkness, that you allow Jesus to lead you into the valley of the shadow of death, amidst enemies on every side, that you will be able to see heaven's multicolored wisdom, the manifold wisdom of God within the negative images of the world. Man, I hope that encourages you, and I hope that is clear. Go back and do it again. Do the exercises again. Like God has hidden himself within the ordinary, everyday aspects of us just seeing things. Oh, I love it. I hope it encourages you. If you subscribe to what I am doing, hit the button. Hit it and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you loved this video, you didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. I pray blessings on you guys' days. I love you lots, and I will see you in the next video.